Welcome to Portsmouth This Week. I'm Jeff Richard, host today. This is the 20th of July show, and with me today we'll have a combination of guests. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome John Klimm, our town administrator. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
And following John, we're going to bring Judy Stevens from our town council and Paul Ross from our the committee that oversees the advice given to you as to how to deal with the transfer station. So really the main message of the program today is going to be about our transfer station. But meanwhile, so many things are going on in town that we thought we'd just fire some questions at you and let everybody know what's going on. How's the fire chief search process going?
Well, I was told erroneously that things slow down in the summer months in Portsmouth, and I can guarantee you that, at least in Town Hall, that's not the case. We are as busy as ever. Through the leadership of the Town Council, we are in the process of appointing a new fire chief, and as part of that, the Town Council appropriated funds to undertake operational audits, which is something I feel very strongly about. And so we're not only beginning the process of hiring a new chief, at the same time we're conducting an overall operational audit in the fire department, looking at a wide variety of issues from staffing to other activities, looking to see whether efficiencies can be gained and what have you.
Has a firm been selected to do that?
Yes,
yet?
Municipal Resources from New Hampshire has been selected. They will be in town next week, beginning their process of interviewing. They'll be interviewing everyone from our department heads to our friends on Prudence Island Fire Department to all of the men and women of the department. They'll be spending a lot of time just getting some baseline information.
Good, but how long is that going to take?
The whole audit process should be completed within 3 months, and at the same time we'll be working to select a new fire chief. So it's an exciting time for us because it gives us an opportunity to take a close look at the department to see what we can do. We have a wonderful department. I applaud the hardworking and dedicated staff people there. But as I mentioned on this program before, my philosophy is that every one of our departments there is room for improvement continuously, and this operational audit process will allow us to continue to have a fresh set of eyes look at our operation to make recommendations for change.
Great. So we'll look forward to what they have to say. What about Code Red? Are we moving in that direction?
Yeah, once again, through the leadership of our town council, funds were appropriated so we can finally have a town-wide communication system, very similar to the system, for example, that our schools use on snow days and that our water district uses for their issues as well. The town of Portsmouth, in collaboration with our water district, will be implementing a Code Red system. That should be up and running prior to Labor Day. So we're very pleased. It will only be used for emergencies. We understand people don't like to get calls at home on something that isn't important, and so we'll be careful in terms of the purposes for those calls. But in times of emergency, whether it's a hurricane, a lost child, or something along those lines, or a major accident in an area, to have the capacity to call the entirety of the town within 10 or 15 minutes is a terrific thing for us, and I'm really pleased that the council supported this request.
Something else that's going on that's very important is the conservation easement notion down at Elmhurst. Where is that process?
I've been directed by the town council to work with a variety of people to negotiate the actual language of the easement. And Alan Shears and Ann Fiore have joined me with our town solicitor and several town councilors to actually go through the painstaking process of looking at every word and every phrase, because this document at the end of the day is in perpetuity, forever. And so it's very important that we take the time necessary to go through that. We'll be probably beginning negotiations with Ted Clements and the Land Trust in the next several weeks, but we've got to go through this process first to make sure the language works
I recall
well.
you saying something about being reasonably sure as to what the teardown costs are going to be. Did we get another estimate as to?
Yes, that whole process is ongoing. We're going to be putting out the demolition of the school to RFP. But before we did that, we had to do a variety of studies that are ongoing at this time to look at the existence of hazardous materials.
Okay.
But also, as you know from being familiar with the area, the topography there is very challenging. And so it isn't just a matter of knocking the building over and thinking that what's left is going to work for us.
Yeah.
We have to take a look at and do a slope survey. And all of those things are ongoing.
Yeah, having just gone down to the American Band concert yesterday evening, it is such a wonderful site down there. We really have to deal with it well. It was a tremendous turnout for that concert.
I've heard it went well, yes.
Really nicely done. How about a quick on the wind turbine?
Well, once again, another very complex issue. Our goal right now is to fully evaluate and analyze what went wrong with the gearbox. You know, there's speculation that the gearbox itself might have been defective, but we want to make sure that that is the case, that it wasn't a structural problem with the wind turbine. And so evaluations are taking place, and as soon as we can appear back at the council, we will. But we want to make sure that we do our due diligence and that whatever ultimately is recommended in terms of strategy, and we have 3 or 4 possibilities, but whatever the recommended strategy is, it's a long-range strategy, hoping to minimize the possibility to run into this problem again.
Do you have a sense of the timeline for the understanding of what went wrong?
Well, we have 2 things being looked at. One is the process to take a look at the gearbox itself, and the other is to look structurally at the turbine. We had hoped to be able to have a final recommendation to the council by August 14th, but I think that that's unrealistic because of the complexity of this issue. So we'll be giving the council an update on August 14th, and as soon thereafter, if we're ready, when we're ready to go.
Do you have to take the gearbox down entirely with a large crane?
Ultimately, to fully evaluate the gearbox, you do have to take the gearbox down and ship it off. At the same time, because the wind turbine actually is still operating if it's turned on, we're blessed to be able to have folks come in and look at it under operation.
Yeah, I thought I started moving the other day.
Well, I don't know.
No? Maybe not. Maybe that was the other one in town.
It might have been, but we're blessed to still have the capacity to do that because we can analyze it under operation.
Very good. We decided in our budget process to capital improve our roads. Is that begun yet?
It is just starting now. The council just took a vote several weeks ago, and I cannot say enough about the leadership of this town council to address what really is a huge issue in town, the lack of maintenance of our roads from a financial standpoint, taking aside the problems that exist with cars being impacted by the potholes and what have you. The financial implications of not regularly maintaining our roads is huge. And even the $1 million program that is about to begin, that is not going to overnight solve our issues. It will take years to get us back to where we should have been. But I cannot say enough about the leadership of our town council to say, you know, these are tough financial times, but this is something that we cannot shove aside any longer.
So we're going to start to see some road work,
yes,
blocking the streets, as long as the tractors can get through.
That's right.
Listen, one last thing. I know you've got a tight schedule this morning, and we'd like to get Judy and Paul on camera soon. At the transfer station, a recent policy change was made. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have a tremendous, a great group of volunteers that serve on a committee that have regularly recommended changes and improvements to our transfer station. And they recently have come forward and said, you know, because of the huge cost of handling our construction debris, the town might want to consider at this point, and because of the small size of our overall transfer station property, that we might want to consider a policy of not dealing with construction and debris anymore. And the town council did consider that, but felt that that it is a service to our residents, and we should try to do what we can do to continue it. And so, in working very closely with Councillor Stevens and the committee, we've developed a plan that will at least cover the cost, because it's very costly to handle this construction debris or whatever. So starting 1 August, we will be implementing a plan that I know that Judy and Paul and others will be talking about to you.
Very good. Well, thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you in the camera's light. We'd like to shift and ask Paul and Judy Stevens to come over and take a seat.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're here with Councilwoman Judy Stevens from our town council and Paul Ross. Judy is currently the council liaison to the Solid Waste and Recycling Committee, a committee that Paul has been on since February of 2009. Judy, before she was elected to council, was on that same committee, in fact chaired it for a number of years. So when it comes to the matter of the trash compactor or recycling center, or whatever we want to call our facility, we have two of Portsmouth's most knowledgeable people here on the show today. Just prior to his needing to jump onto another event, our town administrator, John Klimm, was here, and he started a conversation about a significant change up at the waste facility, and specifically it was in line with construction, demolition debris issues, and he didn't get into the specifics as to exactly what the decision that the committee recommended the town council vote on. Judy, what exactly is the new rule?
First of all, thanks for having us here today.
A pleasure.
And the new rule is that if you are bringing in a truckload of C&D, that's short for construction demolition debris, is that you'll have to pay now. It'll be $75. That's geared more towards the contractors who have been continually bringing big loads of C&D. We go through 800 tons a year, which is not your normal household use. So they will have to start paying for that. And the residents, though, because you do have things, we were very concerned about, let's say you have a brought out landscape timber, what do you do with it?
Right.
All right, you have a little piece of a picket fence, what do you do with it? You know, people need to be able to get rid of their pressure-treated wood and that type of thing. You'll still be able to do that. You'll be allowed one 32-gallon barrel, like a big trash barrel, once a day. To bring that into the station, you'll be able to dump that for free. Or for people who don't have trucks, they'll be able to bring in like an amount that you can get in the trunk of your car.
Okay.
That will be for free, and that's once a day. So, you know,
that should cover most things.
Yeah, it should.
Oh,
you know.
why did we have to change the rule here? What was happening?
Well, there was quite a bit of abuse. Contractors were bringing in truckloads of C&D repeatedly, sometimes 3 and 4 times during the week. And it was never set up to be a depository for contractors. What they're supposed to do is take their truckloads over to Newport and put it on the scale and be charged appropriately. To avoid these charges of $100 or more per load, they've been using the Portsmouth facility. And it was never designed for that, and we're trying to curtail that by putting a surcharge on pickup truckloads of $75 apiece. And this, we believe, will deter but not totally prevent them from bringing in debris. At $75 per pickup truck, that will pretty much defray the cost to the transfer station.
Yeah, how are you notifying the contractors that this is the new way of doing business?
There's going to be a big sign posted right outside.
I was there yesterday. I saw a sign at the actual canister container, but I didn't see anything outside.
Hopefully it will go into effect on August 1st, and we'll have it up before then.
So our security people will be what, a little lenient until the signs go up, or it's 1st of August that this new policy begins?
If I may.
Yes.
They're handing out flyers at the station right now. DPW has put up a couple signs in the station. But this is it's not just contractors. It's anybody who has a truckload of construction demolition. So if you are if you tear out your bathroom or something like that, then you'll need to bring in your material in 32-gallon buckets or pails, and it'll have to be once a day. And I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but we couldn't figure out any other way to do this. You know, because the problem is that the contractors come in and they're asked if it's coming from their house, and they say yes, and that's the end of it. It just can't be.
Understood.
But I also, if you don't mind, I'd like to get in as to how the program, how you're going to get these passes.
Sure.
I think this is a
Absolutely.
great venue for
It
getting
is,
the word out.
absolutely.
Okay, so I think it's a great opportunity. People have to go to town hall to buy a pass.
Okay, to the clerk's office? Or
No,
the
at the
tax
tax
assessors?
assessment's office. And they'll buy a pass, and then when they come into the station, they'll have to give the pass to the person at the gate to be admitted. So, I mean, if they want to buy 5 at a time, that's the way it is, okay? You can, okay? But every load will be $75. Excuse me. I also would like to say that we've decided that trailer loads should not be allowed. People come in with truckloads and trailer loads at the same time, and so they're going to, no more trailer loads for C&D. It's just, and you know those are our contractors, okay? So I just want to make sure that people knew how to get these passes. You go to town hall and buy them at the tax assessor's office.
Very good. Over time at the center, we've increased the opportunity for recycling many, many things. I know there are places to put books, clothes, all sorts of things that have happened up there. And it's such a small amount of space. How does our space compare to other towns that are trying to do this thing? I was at my sister's at Yarmouthport out on the Cape. They had, I don't know, 7 or 8 acres that you could recycle almost anybody. And incredible. They even had a center where if you had something slightly used and you wanted to drop it off, and it could be resold to somebody else who, we don't have any space like that. How much space do we have?
We have less than an acre, just a fraction of an acre, to accommodate all of the bins that you see up there. Most communities in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, surrounding have probably at least 5 acres. Some of them have many more than that. Ideally, we would have a facility other than Headley Street, which would accommodate, you know, a mulching facility, a swap-out program, similar to other communities. Unfortunately, we have to work within the constraints of our Headley Street's facility. But considering the small amount of space that we have, we basically are providing almost all the services of a larger facility.
Yeah, it amazes me how much stuff literally everything. And if there's something like oil paint or something, the state's eco, is that correct, ecosystem for contaminated things that you can periodically bring to sites. I checked the Eco Depot schedule for 212 that the state has. So if you've got something like a can of oil-based paint or the many things that you shouldn't be putting into the compactor, you can go to, for instance, the next one is September 29th in Newport.
That is
Right.
correct. And we had one recently right at the high school here in Portsmouth. And there's probably at least 4 of these on the island per year.
Okay.
And if you have something that you feel has to be removed immediately, the RIRAC facility in Johnson will take it on any day that you bring it up there.
Very good. Just general, Paul, why do we want to recycle?
Recycling.
The basic question. You know.
Recycling is very important, and one reason is it's the right thing to do. And besides being the right thing to do, it saves the town lots of money. And by saving the town money, it saves the taxpayer money. And besides saving money, it's much better for the environment. We don't need to have bottles in the water and other contaminants around. Environmentally, it's a thing to do. Economically, it's the thing to do. And it's also mandated that we recycle.
Are there ways to provide statistics to see how well any particular town or city is recycling?
There's statistics pretty much for every town. Our current recycling rate is, for 2011, was 31%. Okay.
That doesn't sound too good to me.
That's actually quite good compared to what it was several years ago. Back in, just 5 or 10 years ago, it was down around 13, 14%. We are mandated to do at least 35% in the year 2012. We don't have too much further to go, but it would be much better to exceed the 35% rate and be up closer to 50%. That's our goal.
Any place in the state that's coming close to 50%?
I don't believe anybody has 50% just yet.
Yeah. Judy, the folks in Middletown made a decision, I guess, when they knew that the Navy was going to be taking back its land along the highway down there. Their trash compactor went away, and they went to a new system. And I understand that you folks might be thinking about something like that over in Prudence Island. Can you talk to why Middletown went the way it did, and what you're thinking about recommending for a vote in Prudence Island?
Well, Middletown went the way they did with the trash pickup program, and combined with the pay-as-you-throw program because they lost their transfer station. As far as Prudence Island is concerned, the Solid Waste Recycling Committee is working on that at the moment. The council did vote to have them look into it, and to come up with some kind of a plan for Prudence Island. We need to do something on Prudence Island. It's an island, and so you have to haul it over on a ferry, and it's very expensive, very, very expensive. So we're trying to do something to get the cost back on that. It'll never pay for itself over there, though. It's just way too expensive for the amount of trash that is generated. So, but it's still verdict's still out on that one.
Maybe we should have a community composting and a mini compactor over there to turn all the aluminum cans into footballs or something.
That was a consideration that we actually discussed several years ago, but it didn't get past the earlier councils. Prudence Island costs the town approximately $120,000 to process their refuse and rubbish. Yes, we are considering the possibility of implementing a pilot program over there for pay-as-you-throw. Pay-as-you-throw is the most equitable way to dispose of rubbish. Again, it will never, ever come close to paying the full cost of
because of the cost of ferrying.
Cost of ferrying and actually the limited number of people that live on the island. But what it would do, it would go a long way toward helping us with it would make a dent, at least, in the high cost of providing that service to Prudence Island. So it is something that we are considering, and it is something we will present to the council in August.
Okay. There's enough of experience in the state now with, back at my mother's house up in Worcester, they had gone to yellow bags a long time ago. So there's a plus and minus to all of that. But I was checking the Portsmouth website yesterday to get up on the subject, and there's an awful lot of material on that website that people can access. And I guess you've been working at this for a long time. You can link from that website to any place in the state and sometimes nationally. Did you spend a lot of time making that happen?
Well, actually, I didn't do that. Our Barbara Reaper did that when we upgraded our. In fact, I think EDC was involved in it too. That they upgraded our website, and so now. It's getting updated more, and there's more links and stuff like that. But a lot of it is also that because of the committee, I believe, bringing things out before the public, there's more of an interest in this now than there was before. So between the two, I think it's worked out real well.
Yeah, if somebody suggested to me, where do you want to go to meet your neighbors? Well, it's either going to be Clements Market or the transfer station. I mean,
yeah,
because we are always up there. I noticed in the website the list of rules and regulations are very prominent there, but the new rules about construction debris was not yet on the website. Is that you guys working to have that happen?
Yeah, we just finalized everything as far as the council voted to do this for at the transfer station, but then it takes the planning and how you're going to do this, and then it's getting all the little tiny details. And so I do think we're pretty well done with that now, and so I'm sure that Barbara will be posting that soon.
You hear a lot these days about recycling of metals or the theft of metals in some cases. We have a container up there at the transfer station to put metal objects into, as opposed to bringing them to Westport, where there's a company that actually buys from individuals, or I assume from towns and cities as well. So what happens to the metal that I bring up there and throw into that container? Where does it go? Who makes the money?
The money, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The money is, Patriot collects that, and they sell it to the highest bidder, and the town collects the money from that. Last year we brought in about $25,000 to the town for the sale, of those metal scraps that you throw in there.
That's why there's a big sign, no pawing through the metal here, because we need that. So that's encouraging. So if somebody's got something to, and they're, they don't want to take a trip to Westport and it's only maybe 5 pounds of something or other, bring it up and the town will profit from that.
Correct.
Judy?
If I could add that the income from the metal sales goes into the enterprise fund, and it helps keep the sticker fee down.
That's super good. We've only got about 3 minutes left to our program today. Let me ask you: is there a single message that either of you would like to get out to everybody in town that we haven't touched on?
I think the primary thing that I'd like to get across to the public is that it's very important to recycle, and it's all about education. And what I would like to see is that the parents lead the way and influence the children. We need a generation to follow that's eco-conscious and that will recycle, and that will be able to improve the environment and the situation that we have here in Portsmouth.
Very good, Judy.
Well,
from a legislator's point of view, you're sitting on our town council and you get a chance to influence the direction of events here. What if you were writing a couple of extra new laws, ordinances that had to do with the transfer station? What would they be?
Well,
you want more land?
Right. Oh, yes. We'd love to have a new facility, because you're right. The transfer stations like Charlestown is huge. Even Prudence Island is Prudence. Patriot's operating on a postage stamp up there, and they're doing a really good job. But we're out of room. And to make any expansions at all, we need to move the transfer station. But that's a lot of money. So it's,
Can we put that in the capital improvement program that Mr. Klimm was talking about creating over the next 5 years or so?
Well, I've tried to put things like repairs in the capital improvement fund, but so far I've had no luck with it. The enterprise fund is set up so everything, as far as the transfer station is concerned, needs to get paid for with the sticker fee. So what I want to do is, I do believe now that we've made some changes up there, and with the new C&D program, I think it might show a profit this year at the $125 fee, but I don't want to reduce the sticker fee. I want to leave the fee the way it is and start some kind of a, put the excess into a capital account. So when we need repairs for the station, that we have it. Otherwise, otherwise you're going to have a fee that goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and the more it costs, the less people.
Yeah, no.
The less
Some of the more
people-
obvious things, the condition of the actual building itself that the compacting units are in. Of course, that doesn't belie the mechanical skills that are the machines are actually operating well. The building looks like it's ready to collapse.
Right.
So, we are just about out of time, and the transfer station is a great topic. As I said, everybody seems to be up there all the time. So, I want to thank Judy Stevens and Paul Ross for being on Portsmouth this week, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.